Croeso. This is James, aka JP Harker, coming to you with another Authortube video. This one is the Authortube Transparency Tag. I'm sure there's some long introduction I could do, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to answer the questions. You may have guessed I'm still not very experienced at this YouTubing lark, so bear with me. Okay, the Authortube Transparency Tag, question 1. Are you published, traditionally or self-published, or is your writing on a public forum, i.e. Wattpad? I don't know what Wattpad is. I'm far older in spirit than I am in body. I don't understand most of these things. So I'm self-published. I initially tried to get my books traditionally published and got told, these are much too long, nobody's going to take them. So I decided, fine, I'll do that myself. I may traditionally publish in future if I write something a bit shorter, but we'll see. For now, self-published through Amazon. Right, question 2. What genre do you write? I write fantasy. The books I have out at the moment are Iron Age fantasy, sort of Celts and Romans, that sort of thing. I'm working on a bit more high fantasy, something a bit more medieval, with a bit more magic in it. I'm also working on some post-Roman Britain fantasized history, and I'm also working on some urban fantasy. But the key word in all of those things is fantasy, so that's what I do. Question 3. How long have you been writing? I started trying to write in university and was dreadful at it, and then gave up and tried again and was still dreadful, but marginally less so. And about 6 years ago, I knuckled down and actually started taking things seriously. So I'll count that as when I began, so about 6 years ago. How long have you been writing with the goal of publishing or selling your work? Pretty much the same amount of time. I don't have a particularly focused on the market mind, but I've always written with the idea of I'd like to see this book in shelves, I'd like people to read this. That's always been what I'd like. Question 5. Do you have a liberal arts degree in writing, or are you working towards one? No, my degree was in archaeology. Number 6. Have you taken any writing classes? No, I haven't. We did creative writing in school, but that's it. And number 7. What, if any, technical book do you or have you used to hone your writing skills? I don't have one. I haven't used one. The majority of what I know of writing I've learned through an awful lot of trial and error and an awful lot of reading. If anyone saw the stuff that I wrote in university, they'd know that that was a lot of error going on early on. It was truly dire. But lots of reading, good books and bad books, lots of practice, lots of getting it wrong and having people tell you it's no good. That'll teach you some stuff. There's some great articles I've read and some channels I've watched and things like that. But no, I've not done any real focused study on the craft of writing. It's mostly been making it up as I go along. It's worked out so far, but we shall see. Okay, number 8. If you are published, how many views or copies have you got or sold of your work? If it's 100 copies, I'll be shocked. I have no gift at all for promoting my work. I appreciate it's something I need to work on, but yeah, most of the people who've read it have liked it. I take comfort in that. Most of the people who've reviewed it have said the writing itself is at least good, and even those who didn't like it haven't criticized the writing style particularly, so that much I'm glad of, and most people have enjoyed the story as well. Yeah, I just don't promote things well at all. I'm no gift for it. Right. Number 9. Share your most negative and most positive review/feedback on your work. Does DNFing count as reviewing? Because I'm never sure. I've had a couple of people give up on my first book because they thought it's too many terrible things are happening to these people. It's awful. And my defense to that is always, well, if you read the second half, they'll get out of it. But I have to balance out that defensive answer with, well, if I had written it to be engaging enough, they would have stuck through it regardless. So there's a little bit of that. I think the most negative thing that I can take out of it is, if you're going to do dreadful, horrible things to your characters, make sure that the person reading it is invested enough that they'll push through the dreadful, horrible things in the hopes of finding something nice at the end. That's what I get from that anyway. Yeah. No criticism on writing skill, which is nice. I've made notes, you may have guessed. The best feedback: people seem to like my world building, people seem to like my characters, and people like my battle scenes, which I enjoy writing, and I think that shows. So that's the best feedback. Question 10. Oh, some great feedback I got was from, sorry, this is a bit of a shameless plug. Game of Thrones actor James Cosmo read my first book and said he really liked it, which was nice. Friend of a friend. But that was very nice. Felt very smug with that. Question 10. What system do you use to determine how much to charge for your work? I charge what Amazon allows me to charge, because they have a minimum that you're allowed to charge because of, I do the print-on-demand method, and there's a minimum what you're allowed to charge for the materials and time and such like. So whatever the minimum is, that's what I charge. I make a wonderful 50 pence profit on my paperbacks. You can't see the thumbs up there, so I'm going to bring that up. Number 11. Do you work a day job, or are you able to solely support yourself from book sales? I do not support myself from book sales. See the previous couple of questions. I work as a hospital clerk in Cardiff. Number 12. I'm still smirking at the ridiculousness of question 11, sorry. Number 12. How many subscribers do you have on your channel? I think about 20. I'm very new to this YouTube gig. I've no idea what I'm doing. But to the 20 who've subscribed, thanks for joining. It's appreciated. Number 13. Do you market your products to your subscribers? If so, how? No, I don't know how to. Number 14. Do you monetize your Authortube videos? Again, no, I don't know how to. Number 15. If you monetize your videos, okay, that's irrelevant from the earlier question. Number 16. What is your number one complaint about Authortube? Largely my own lack of understanding of it. I'd like to do more stuff, but I find it very hard for me to come up with things that people would find interesting. For Authortube in general, I wouldn't say it's a huge criticism, but there are a lot of videos that I've seen that are quite similar to each other, and you think, well, there was no real need to do 2 videos of this. There were a couple on there already, so maybe that. Number 17. If you could collaborate with any other Authortuber, who would it be and why? I haven't seen enough of Authortube to have a great understanding of it. Natalia Lee videos are interesting. Alexa Don's videos are interesting. Be nice to do some form of collaboration with them, but I don't really know what I would do with it. I'm going to play my newbie card once more, but we'll see. That's my impression anyway. It'd be nice to work with them. Number 18. What is my highest viewed video to date, and how do I feel about that? The last time I checked, my highest viewed video was my review of I, Claudius, which was a little odd because that's not a book many people these days have heard of or read. I mean, a lot of people in the 70s would have seen the TV show, but not that many people will be that familiar with it. But for some reason, that's my most viewed video. And it's good. I liked that video. I liked that book. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. We'll call it a win, though. Question 19. Which Authortuber would you recommend to your viewers, and if so, why? Same answer as before. The people that I've watched and have found useful are Natalia Lee and Alexa Don. I've seen some others that are quite nice, but I am no expert to share such an opinion, I'm afraid. That's a bit of a hedging answer, I know, but I genuinely don't know enough of them to know much of how to recommend. Number 20. I'm assuming this is some kind of in-joke. I don't really get it, but I'll assume. It says, take a sip of tea and then answer. Now, I don't drink tea, but I will drink this delicious bank holiday squash. I'm filming on a bank holiday, by the way. Do you believe that an ARC should be sold for $150? Now, even I know what an ARC is, and the idea of charging $150 for it is ridiculous, so no. Right, and on that suitably dramatic note, this has been JP Harker doing his Authortube Transparency Tag. Hope you enjoyed it. I shall see you next time.